caught between two worlds belonging to neither. I've just read Wonder Woman Earth 1 Volume 1. Here's what I thought. And now, a conversation piece. This is The Rundown. Welcome everybody to another exciting episode here at the Rundown, part of a week in Geekdom. I am your host, Giovanni Menendez, and yes, I finally read Wonder Woman Earth 1, Volume 1, because it says so right there, Volume 1. For anybody out there that doesn't know what Earth 1 means, basically this is what would have happened if DC had made the Ultimate DC, similar to Marvel making the Ultimate Marvel imprint. This is an all continuity free. You do not need to know anything about these characters. You just gotta read these awesome storylines. There have been some Earth 1 books from Teen Titans, Batman, and Superman, and now we can add the amazing character of Wonder Woman into the Earth 1 franchise or line of books or whatever. Basically, they are, I think they release one each year ever since Batman started coming out, Batman Earth 1. At least one per year, and they're just graphic novels, original graphic novels, and they're done by some of the best talents. Batman Earth 1 was done by Jeff Johns, and then Superman Earth 1, which was the original, done by J. Michael Straczynski, and now, there was Teen Titans by Jeff Lemire, and now we have Wonder Woman by Grant Morrison and art by Yannick Paquette, and my god, this thing is just beautiful. It's amazing. Yannick is at the top of his game. Holy crud. This is an amazing book. I don't know necessarily how long has this idea been in production, or the basis of the idea has been around Grant's mind for a long time. He has been wanting to do Wonder Woman Earth 1 for a long time. I think 5-6 years, something like that. I don't know right now, but I do know it's been a long time, and finally, I thought this was in development now, but finally Wonder Woman Earth 1 is here, and I couldn't be happier. I was really pumped up about it. Obviously the cover image I guess some people were a little bit thrown off by it, especially if you're a fan of the character and you know her rich history. It's a history that is some part mostly positive, but there are some dark spots in regards to her origin and her first couple storylines way back in the day. There are some prevalent themes of sexuality, bondage, and sexism, feminism, gender equality, and all those controversial themes that are still relevant today and still make headlines across the world, especially back here at home. And it's one of the ugly parts of humanity that we have to criticize, hate, and despise other people simply because they do not function in a certain way. I want to tackle this in the lightest way possible because I don't want to offend anybody. Apparently everybody's overly sensitive. Okay, here we go. Wonder Woman Earth 1 tackles some interesting topics in regard to gender equality, and that has always been part of her history, and really I guess I should start by saying that she is one of my favorite comic book characters of all time. Next to Aquaman and Spider-Man, I think she is the third big hero of my fanboyism. I don't know what I'm saying. The thing is, I really like Wonder Woman. She is an amazing character. One, because I've always been a huge fan of Greek mythology and Greco-Roman themes and all that stuff. So the whole thing with the Amazons and stuff, it's really cool from a historical perspective, I guess, or a mythological perspective. Plus, the character represents the better nature of humanity, and I say that with the best of intentions, because the character is just a beautiful representation that we can be strong as human beings and we can love the earth and each other. That is what I take from the character. Aside from, aside from her being a total badass and like the most gorgeous comic book character ever, Yeah, Wonder Woman Earth 1 basically reboots her entire mythos and establishes something completely different. I don't want to spoil everything, but I will talk some spoilery things here. One of the first things that came to mind when reading this book is, of course, the usage of frescoes and the old Greek style art styles, and you can see it right at the beginning. You can see the usage of it very early on. It just gives it a feel that is not of this earth, but it is something you would see. Grant really went out of his way to establish a fairly clean and powerful origin for this specific version of Wonder Woman. The Earth 1 universe is fairly new. We don't know a lot about it. Everybody's different in some shape or form. And there are some things that bothered me a little bit about the book. Some technical, some more storytelling wise. But overall, the experience is just fantastic. The story takes place mostly on Paradise Island. Queen Hippolyta has banned everybody from leaving the island. Of course, Wonder Woman escapes, and you get this story of her events as to why she left and what happened when she left. Yes, you do get an introduction of Steve Trevor, and that was a really interesting plot twist, in my opinion. I did not see that coming. I thought, for some reason, I was expecting it to be the same thing, but then I reminded myself, hey, this is Earth 1, so anything goes. And I thought it was a smart, amazing choice to have a black Steve Trevor. That was awesome. I really like that, and really lends itself to the overall dynamic that Wonder Woman is a book about equality, and what better way to show it with a potential interracial couple. Basically have this godlike superhero with this everyman that just so happens to be an Air Force pilot or Army or whatever. Yeah, mostly Air Force because he was flying a plane. So that aspect I really liked. Another thing I really appreciated was the usage of mythology like we would use it today. It's not like, yes, she has superpowers because they are a race of Amazonian warriors with special abilities. They fight and they do stuff that a lot of other people don't do. But it doesn't go over the top like your regular DC universe. You barely see anything. Well, actually, you don't see anything God related. You do see Hercules, and it ties really heavily into Wonder Woman's new origin in this story. And I gotta say, it made sense from a realistic standpoint. From, if you're gonna compare it to the original, I don't like it that much. But in this universe, I tend to just look at these stories and just separate them and I want to establish that this is a completely different tale, and I should not base my ideas off of what I've read. I want to just create a whole new experience by reading this. And so it sounds more convoluted than it already is, but what I'm trying to get at is that within the Earth 1 universe, it makes complete sense. Do I like it? More or less. But the whole thing that Hercules is sort of involved, or yeah, kind of involved with Wonder Woman's heritage is interesting. It gives her that divinity status, I guess, or at least a quarter divinity. I don't know how that works. If you've ever read a Grant Morrison book, you know that the man does amazing research and goes back to the roots of the characters and reinterprets them in ways that are right. And you can only do that when you know the character by heart and you study where that character has come from. You know the library, and you know that you can mold it. I spoke about it in a previous video or a review, I can't remember right now, but you gotta know the rules in order to break them. You can't just go in and write Wonder Woman and do a completely new origin without some basis without knowing where the character originated from, and I think Grant pulled it off greatly. It's not a confusing tale because if you've read stuff from Grant, you know he can kind of get all zany and wacky, from his Vertigo stuff to Flex Mentallo and like all his indie stuff. It can be a little trippy or a little bit too much. With this, you get a really clean, beautiful representation, and there are some themes of dominance. And I can see why some people would be put off by this interpretation of the character. But I thought the media surrounding it, because I remember a few articles about it, and they were complaining that this was going to be like a super sexist book or whatever. I don't think it was. I think this book showed us that we are better as a species when we care and love about, and when we care about and love every one of our brothers and sisters. Yes, she represents femininity, feminism, and sisterhood, and all that stuff, and that's great. That's awesome. More power to you. If you are a female viewer, I was raised in a household where I believe in equality for any sort of human being and animal and species on this earth. Racism is just so dumb and archaic that I do not know why in 2016 people still think they're better than everybody else just because of the color of your skin or your sexual identity or whatever. It's just bogus, and it's just stupid in my opinion. And there are a lot of haters out there, so bring them on, I guess. I don't care. But that's what I love about the character, that she brings forward those ideals, those themes about equality, and especially in Wonder Woman Earth 1. One of the things I did not like, and I'm going to cross over into this little segment, I guess I was expecting like a big fight, because all the other titles had like really cool fight scenes and stuff. But what we're getting is a much more reserved, more analytical view at the character of Wonder Woman. You see this with her sisters, with her Amazonian kin, when they're doing their whole stage play, recreating the fall of Hercules and all that stuff. I really appreciated that Hippolyta is fearful of what her daughter could be if she was let loose in the world of men. Obviously, Hippolyta shut herself off from the rest of the world, and it is because of that fact that Steve eventually finds Paradise Island and shenanigans ensue. But it really is that act of defiance that's saying, like, you know what, I am better than everybody else, we are better than everybody else. That contradicts with what you're trying to preach, that everybody should be equal, especially in this case womanhood or whatever. So I thought that was really interesting, and it took an act of defiance from Diana for Hippolyta to see that, you know, you gotta own it. If you're talking about equality, what better way than for all of you to be emissaries of good, love, peace, and just goodness in a world that sorely needs it? Because if something like that were to happen today, then yeah, we should have this inspirational person or a group of people that the audience, or in this case readers or real life people, could emulate and strive towards. And that's why we have so much good, honest folk doing amazing things in this world. So yeah, it took this act of defiance in the part of Diana for Hippolyta to say, you know, maybe I should have done things a little bit different, and I'm sort of opening up myself for a new influx of ideas now that Steve comes into the world of Paradise Island. Now, that's not everything that happens in this book. We do see Diana and her origin growing up. We see her trying to, you know, just like any kid, no matter where you grow up, you want to see more of the world. You want to experience something more beautiful and epic than just the confines of where you grew up. And that is a universal theme. No matter where you're from, you want to see the world and in all of its splendor. And yeah, I think I could go on talking about the themes of this book, but I'd rather just spend my time highlighting some of my favorite panels and just little trinkets that I found really interesting. I love the dynamic, by the way, as I said before, that Steve Trevor is black, and just really lends itself to this universal theme that the Amazons really don't give a crap about where this guy comes from. To them, they're all alike. They're all bad guys, supposedly. And yeah, what better way to diversify your cast than by changing up the race a little bit with Steve Trevor? And then you see all of the other characters, from Artemis and then the Earth Girls, and that special amazing scene where Wonder Woman ventures on to man's world and finds all the malnourished and sick people that we have, just like in real life. And she's shocked, she's offended, because she's coming from a place where none of this exists, and it is Paradise Island. People live in such beautiful conditions, and then you come to this world where everybody's so sick, and yeah, people we're dying earlier because our foods are tainted, our oceans are sick, the earth is dying, and we get that. We see that reflected on the status, on the health of our citizens, of our people, and that is expressed rather interestingly enough, on the actual book, on this amazing book. Yannick Paquette's art is just stellar. It's beautiful. I showed this image earlier, but I just wanted to highlight. Look at the attention to detail in all of these panels. I mean, damn it, it's just great. If you have never read a Wonder Woman book, should I recommend this? I have my reservations. I think people should get accustomed to the regular version of Wonder Woman and then venture onto this one. If you are coming in reading this expecting a high-octane battle, then you're not going to get that. This is more of a character study of what makes Diana and her fight for equality in this world great. But because like I mentioned, there's not a lot of cool fight scenes like in your typical Justice League book or Superman or Batman or that sort of thing. But yes, it is a fantastic book. If you love Wonder Woman, please, this is a must add to your shelf. This is a must buy, must get to your collection. It is a fantastic read. Grant Morrison, sir, you have outdone yourself yet again. He is one of my favorite writers. I'm a big Morrison fan, I gotta say. So thankfully it's not overly convoluted or crazy and zany as his other works, so I really recommend it. Anybody can pick this up. But honestly, regardless of price, this is a must-own in my opinion. And hopefully you read it and come to the same conclusions as I do, that the world would be a lot better if we just loved one another a little bit more. And it's just the random acts of kindness that just keep the darkness away. And I think, or maybe that's some of what I see in this character of Wonder Woman that just makes me realize that yes, this world needs some help, and we can fix it if we try a little bit harder, and if we love a little bit more and are kinder and nicer to each other. And that's why I think, in light of Wonder Woman's 75th anniversary, or I think it's this year or last year, I'm not counting straight right now, but in light of that, she is one of the greater superheroes of all time, and I'm really excited about this book, and I think you guys should read it as well. That's the rundown edition for Wonder Woman Earth 1 Volume 1. I can't wait. Hopefully it doesn't take so long for Volume 2. And thank you everybody for tuning in. As always, you can follow me on your favorite social media platform: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Tumblr, Periscope. and everywhere else in between. Just type A Week in Geekdom and I'll be there for you guys. Alright, so yeah guys, I gotta go. Thank you so much everybody for tuning in, and as always, I'll catch you on the next episode. Thank you for tuning in to another installment. You can keep the conversation going through your favorite social media platform. You can like and subscribe to our YouTube page, follow us on Twitter, like our fan page on Facebook, and favorite our pics on Instagram. You can also write to us for feedback, suggestions, and such via aweekingeekdom@gmail.com. Until next time. The invisible plane idea was just brilliant, that concept, and yes, it was a little bit sexualized, but whatever. It makes sense because it's a utopic female society. I don't know what I'm saying anymore, but the sketchbook part is really cool.